Meeting to order, please rise. We can have a moment of silence to keep our troops, law enforcement, and all emergency responders in our thoughts and prayers that they always return home safe. Thank you. Pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The notice of this meeting pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-10, has been complied with and shall be entered into the minutes of this meeting.
Roll call.
Freeholder Armwood?
Here.
Freeholder Ascona Barber?
Yes.
Freeholder Kenny? Freeholder Koppel?
Here.
Freeholder Nara?
Here.
Freeholder Tamaro?
Here.
Freeholder Director Rios?
Here. Do you have recognitions?
Yes. First, recognizing Magyar Bank, outstanding CRA compliance. Next, proclaiming March is American Red Cross Month in Middlesex County. Next is recognizing the honorees at the Middlesex County Irish American flag raising on Saturday, March 7th, 2020. Next is recognizing John E. Keefe Jr. as Irishman of the Year by the Friendly Sons of St. Patrick of Central Jersey. Next is recognizing the honorees of the Woodbridge St. Patrick's Day Parade. Next, proclaiming March as Nutrition Month in Middlesex County. Next, proclaiming March 8th as International Women's Day in Middlesex County. Next, proclaiming March as Youth Art Month in Middlesex County. Last, recognizing George Arthur Hoff and Gordon D. Babel as they attain Eagle Scout status.
Is there a motion to adopt above resolutions?
Motion to adopt.
Motion by Freeholder Tamaro, second by Freeholder Koppel. Roll call.
Freeholder Armwood?
Yes.
Freeholder Ascona Barber?
Yes.
Freeholder Koppel? Freeholder Nara?
Yes.
Freeholder Tamaro?
Yes.
Freeholder Director Rios?
Yes. Okay, Freeholder Tamaro.
Come on up, Magyar. Want all your plays up. Come on, let's go. You don't get out of this. Let's go. Yeah, on all. Yeah, I want to show how many came out. You know, how many people came out for this resolution. Okay. We have a resolution. I'll read some of the whereases. Whereas it has come to the attention of the Middlesex County Board of Chosen Freeholders that Magyar Bank, outstanding rating, charitable foundation, is worthy of special recognition of the community service to the community. And whereas Magyar Bank was founded by Hungarian immigrants from New Brunswick, 5th Ward, and has been in Middlesex County institution since 1922. And whereas Magyar Bank Charitable Foundation was established in 2006 and donated over $700,000 to over 185 nonprofit organizations. Whereas Magyar Bank takes an active role in evolving life for families and businesses within our community it serves. Whereas the foundation actively seeks development opportunities in 4 primary areas: education, health, human services, youth programs, and affordable housing, while also recognizing the need to change with the needs and social conditions of the community. Whereas Magyar employees contributed their personal time to the organizations such as Prague, Meals on Wheels, Greater New Brunswick, the Town Community Development Corporation, and whereas Magyar Bank is audited by the FDIC every 3 years for compliance with the Community Reinvestment Act, and has been rated outstanding in 2007, 2010, 2014, 2017, and received their 5th consecutive outstanding rating on November 25th, 2019. Now, a couple things. You contribute to the Hands of Hope, which I'm a board member. May 30th, Saturday morning at Topgolf. We're having a golf outing there, so make sure you all come and enjoy it. I'll send the information. And I know every year, last year was the first year you had a Selena cook-off. Yes. And unfortunately, I was away at that time, and my wife.
We'll do it again.
My wife is half Hungarian, so I know what Selena bread is. I know what dirty bread is, and if you eat it, it's a recipe for a heart attack. That's for sure. But there is nothing better than that eating that Selena. You take a piece of bacon fat, you put it over charcoal, you get it hot, and then you take the bacon fat and you put it on a piece of rye bread, and then you put onions. tomatoes and cucumbers, and you eat it, and also radishes. It's nothing better than that. And so you're eating some healthy things, but it's not all healthy. And the other thing I want you to do, maybe for next year, this year, is chicken paprikash. Yeah, let's have a cook-off with chicken, because my wife's grandmother I had to paint a house one time in order to get chicken paprikash. But I get it once a year at Christmas, and that's it. So I want to try to get it twice a year. So maybe this year we could have a chicken paprikash cook-off. So congratulations. Thanks for all you do for the community and how much you give back to the community, because it means so much to the community that you serve. And I know Jay wants to say a few words.
Thank you so much, Charlie. I brought my own cheering squad. From the bottom of my heart, from all of us at Magyar Bank, I want to express how grateful we are for these words of in your resolution. It's so encouraging to us, and it keeps us on track on wanting to do and keep our mission as a community bank in doing all the things we do within the communities we serve. It's also, this is a validation, because the other ones are the regulators telling us that we're doing the right thing, but you represent the communities that we serve, and to get this from you is a validation of what we do and that we have been in the right path and that we're going to continue doing that. So for that, again, thank you so much.
Right there. And then you can.
There.
We get everybody.
Perfect.
Yeah, I can see.
Frank.
Right there in the back.
Oh, that's right.
She's hiding. She does that. Okay, everyone. Actually, you put your jacket down. Okay. Count three. 1, 2, 3. You take one. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you. That's right. I forgot. I was like, I want him, but we can't. Thank you so much.
Is there anyone here from the American Red Cross? No one? Okay. Okay. We have the, excuse me, the introduction of the 2020 budget. First, I'd like to begin by saying thank you. Thank you to Freeholder Koppel and the Freeholder Board, the county administration, the county's finance department, county staff, and all of whom are committed to serving our residents and maintaining a budget that is fiscally responsible. This budget is the result of months of hard work by all involved, and proud to have the opportunity to lead a county that is this dedicated to presenting a responsible budget. Through measures we have put in place in our day-to-day operations, including the implementation of new technology and the improvement of operating efficiencies, the county is able to increase its surplus and capital cash accounts and maintain its AAA bond rating. Those savings have made it possible for this Freeholder Board to invest in new services for the arts, technology, and healthcare, and our infrastructure like roads, bridges, and new signalization. Ultimately, the hard work and dedication of our freeholders and staff directly benefits our residents and our municipalities. Again, I wish to thank all that have a role in our financial stability, particularly my colleague, Freeholder Koppel, for her leadership, and our Chief Financial Officer, Joe Peretti, for his expertise, and all his staff as well. And now I'd like to turn it over to Freeholder Leslie Koppel, Chair of the Finance Committee, for comments on this year's budget.
Thank you, Director. As Chair of the Finance Committee, I put before you the 2020 Middlesex County budget for introduction. Over the last decade, Middlesex County Board of Chosen Freeholders has been committed to ensuring it provides quality services to our municipalities and our residents. This year's budget is a testament to that commitment and is a result of the hard work and dedication of our Freeholder Board and county staff. Unlike many other counties, Middlesex County is not relying on surplus funds to fill budget gaps. Instead, it is continuing to build its surplus account, which in the 2020 budget will reach $80 million, or 17% of the overall budget. This 2020 budget reflects a commitment to continuing to lower the county's debt service. The 2020 budget reflects the decrease in debt of $11.5 million. Because of this, the county is able to maintain its coveted AAA bond rating, which enables us to spend less taxpayer money when completing critical infrastructure projects such as roads, bridges, and signals. For example, those savings have allowed the county to support projects like the performing arts centers located throughout the county, New Brunswick, Carteret, Metuchen, and Woodbridge, as well as improvements to our parks, recreation facilities, and continual investment in our golf courses. The 2020 budget will also keep the county tax rate flat, consistent with what we have been able to achieve over the last 5 years. The increased surplus, larger capital cash account, and county tax rate are all a result of measures taken by the Freeholder Board and county administration, including the implementation of new technology and the creation of operating efficiencies within the county's structure, as well as an expanding tax base, which comes with a strong economy. Investing in the well-being of county employees, the 2020 budget also reflects no increase in health care costs. This is due to the county's commitment to implementing the wellness program and investing in our county employees. Over 2,800 employees, including those from the administration building, the county college, the MCIA, the MCUA, Board of Social Services, and the Mosquito Commission, take advantage of the program, which cultivates a healthier workforce by focusing on general nutrition, exercise and weight management, smoking cessation, and blood pressure regulation. I thank my fellow freeholders, the county administrator, John Polomino, the finance department under the direction of Joe Pariti, and our management team for their hard work in establishing this budget. Thank you, Director.
Thank you. This time I'd like to ask Joe Pariti, our Chief Financial Officer, to make a presentation on the budget.
So, putting together a budget of this size takes a lot of effort, tremendous effort. And we started last August. And I want to thank, first of all, Freeholder Rios and Freeholder Couple for their leadership, and the whole Freeholder Board, the county administrator, all the department heads, and office director who assisted us, and especially a staff who couldn't do this if we didn't have a dedicated staff. Some of them are here tonight, so I'd like to introduce them. Isam Abbas is our budget director. Gabe Cookie is the controller for the county. We have Samantha McLean. She's the chief of staff. Senior accountant Nick Jaglinski, and other accountants Jasmine Green and Eddie Smith. So very good staff, dedicated staff. Typically, I would begin the presentation by unveiling the summary budget. However, before I do that, I think it's important for me to review a major change in this year's budget. All counties have been directed by the Division of Local Government Services, which regulates county fiscal operations, to incorporate trust expenditures within our operating budget. The county has numerous trust funds. For example, we have motor vehicle fines, sheriff's trust fund, county clerk, open space, and so on. For example, the motor vehicle trust fund monies are received each time a summons is issued in Middlesex County. A portion goes to the township, a portion goes to the state, and a small portion comes to the county. Those funds are set aside and can only be used for the maintenance of county roads. In the past years, we have paid for goods and services and salary from various trust funds to the tune of $8 to $10 million a year. All other expenditures come from our operating budget. The state has mandated that for 2020 and future budget, trust fund expenditures need to be passed through our budget. This, in effect, will increase our appropriations. However, they'll be offset by revenues. The net effect on taxpayers is zero. Having said all that, this is the 2020 operating budget. We have salary and wages of $137 million, an increase of $8.4 million. Other expenses, $356 million, an increase of $16.5 million. Grants, $17.5 million, an increase of $1 million offset by revenues. On the revenue side, revenues increased by $9.1 million, and the net to be raised by taxation for 2020 is $418,496,000. By adopting this budget, we're projecting a flat county tax rate. This projection is based on recent experience where the expanding tax base and growth in Middlesex County has actually resulted in an average county tax rate reduction over the last 5 years. Adjusting for the trust fund mandate, we take a $26 million increase in the operating budget. We decrease it by the mandate of the trust fund and the golf operations, which were moved back to the county from the MCIA this year. And the true increase of the budget is $15 million. By doing the same to our salary and wages, we can see that the true increase of the salary is only $4 million, or 2.93%. And that's in line with the county's wage contracts, negotiated wage contracts. Key drivers in the budget, as increases are the pay-as-you-go capital budget, which the Freeholder spoke about, golf operation, and a bill from the state for our pension bill, that's non-discretionary. Grants are also up by $1 million. Decreasing for the 5th year in a row, we have a decrease in our debt service. Also, we have decided to decrease our workers' compensation and self-insurance budgets due to a combination of decreasing expenditures and overfunding over the past few years. Now, I need to highlight another area of the budget, which it's a major part of the budget, and that is our health insurance for employees. In 2013, the county introduced an employee wellness program to cultivate a healthier workforce that focused on general nutrition, diet and eating habits, exercise and weight management, stress management, smoking cessation, and blood pressure regulation. Wellness coaches have worked with 2,814 employees, both of the county, the MCUA, the MCIA, the county college, the Board of Social Services, and the Mosquito Commission, and this is what they achieved. They met 82,425 times personal interactions. Employees lost a combined total of 1,000 pounds. 942 employees lowered their blood pressure. 503 employees increased their exercise. 352 employees reported lower stress levels. And 22 employees have quit smoking. Now, these improvements are saving approximately $4 million a year. These savings can be best be reflected if we look at our annual health benefits budget and their annual increases in the last few years. In 2018, the health budget increased by 4%. In 19, we stayed flat. There was 0% increase. And in 2020, this year, we had a modest increase of 0.9%. On the average of the 4 years, the average increase is 1.24%, less than the consumer price index over the same period of time. But to see the true achievement that we have been able to achieve, we look at how we compare with other private and government insurance increases. Medicare increased by 7.1%. Medicaid increased by 4.8%. The private sector insurance had a 3.3% increase, and the state benefits package increased by 5.5%. Moving over to revenues. Increase in revenues, we have the trust fund, which I spoke about, golf operations, interest on investments, and the sheriff office is down $2 million. However, this is a good thing. Revenue generated by sheriff comes from foreclosed property sales. And as a result of a strong local economy, we experienced a major decrease in home foreclosures. Once again, I'd like to highlight investment and interest and talk a little bit about that. This is the fastest growth revenue source for the county. Although interest rates have been historically low, we have managed to steadily increase interest revenue over the past 5 years as a direct result of our long-term fund balance strategy. In 2011, our fund balance was at $11 million, lowest level in decades, and represented 3% of our budget. We realized that low level of fund balance, it's not good financial governance. Sound governments need to have a healthy fund balance. We need to rely on surplus or a rainy day fund to pay for unexpected costs, such as the impact of Superstorm Sandy in 2012. Fueled by savings gained from introducing technology and restructuring and streamlining county government, we have been able to increase our surplus funds over the years to $80 million, an increase annual average of $7.7 million, or over 600% from 2011. At the same time, we stopped using surplus as a revenue source to close budget gaps. 2011 was the last year that we used surplus fund as revenue. We're the only county in the state that does so year after year as a practice. Thank you. This increase in fund balance helps us maintain a AAA rating. A good rule of thumb, and also the threshold for rating agency, is to have a surplus fund of 10% or more. We're almost double that at 17%. Now, circling back to the interest revenue where we started, you can see that a healthy surplus balance generates interest revenue. We increased our interest revenue since 2015 by 456%, or $1.6 million. These savings are then reinvested in capital projects. Speaking of which, our capital investment this year is over $60 million for projects such as transportation, road reconstruction, new signs, bridges, buildings and grounds, recreational facilities, educational facilities, IT, public safety, business development, and human services. Over the last 10 years, the county has spent or invested over $500 million in roadways, bridges, parks, and buildings. But we didn't stop at that. As the Freeholders noted, we also had major investments in the New Jersey Performing Arts Center, the Avenel Performing Arts Center, the CARTERET Performing Arts Center, and the Forum Theater in Metuchen. Other examples of capital projects. This is Woodbridge Center Drive, recently finished. This is a state-of-the-art Middlesex County Regional Fire Training Academy. Those are training fire pits. Multi-purpose field in Perth Amboy Waterfront Park. This is what it's looking like now. And the pedestrian bridge over Roosevelt Park. Like I said, those are just some of the examples of some of our projects that we got going on. While operating expenses are funded through annual revenue and taxation, $60 million annually is required for our capital expenditures, are funded in part by transportation programs from the state and the federal government and other sources. However, the bulk of expenditure is raised by bond sales. Between 2005 and 2013, we sold almost $400 million in bonds. That's an average of $42 million a year. After making fundamental changes to our long-term fiscal plans, we have dramatically decreased the amount of bonds that are sold each year. to $7 million a year, or a reduction of 83%. In the last 7 years, 4 out of the last 7 years, we had no bond sale, and that includes 2020. We're projecting not to sell any bonds for this year. There's two main reasons why we were able to achieve this. The first one is, in 2014, the Freeholder Board adopted officially a debt service policy which committed in lowering debt and debt service. Then in 2016, the second milestone, when we created a pay-as-you-go capital account which replaced total dependency on bond sale and further reduced debt service. As a result, once again, 4 years without a bond sale. Decreasing bond sales also generated decreasing debt service. For 5 consecutive years, we lowered our debt service by $19 million. This is a major achievement when you consider that the accepted trend for government debt service is to increase year after year. As a result, we're able now to reduce our annual debt service as a percentage of our total budget, freeing up funding for additional services. In 2015, our debt service was 25% of our total budget. That's $1 out of every 4. This year, it's only 14%. That represents $1 out of every 7. We're projecting by 2024, we'll lower that percentage down to 7%. Retired debt and debt service decreases, along with savings realized from operational efficiency, have been the seed we needed to create and grow a pay-as-you-go capital account. Starting in 2016, we started moving savings from debt service reductions plus savings from operational efficiencies where possible to this account. In 4 short years, we have managed to build this fund up to $36 million. Adding funding from other sources such as state and federal grants, the total capital cash on hand available in 2020 is approaching $60 million. This recurring revenue stream is needed to support all our capital projects. In 2020, we further reduced our overall debt by another $11.5 million. Over the course of 7 years, we managed to decrease it by $250 million, or 36%. So for the last 6 years, as I presented the budget, I've always compared major budget achievements between budget years. But tonight, I would like to give further meaning and contrast to our accomplishment by comparing key financial indicators to other counties. Let's start with the surplus fund. In 2011, we had the lowest surplus fund of any county in New Jersey, at 3% of our budget. By investing in savings, we were able to bounce to number 4 in 2019 with 16% of our budget, 16% representing our fund balance. And in 2020, we moved up to 17%, or $80 million. If we look at total net debt after major capital investments, in 2013, our debt ballooned to over $700 million. A 171% ratio between budget and debt. That means our debt was 71% higher than our budget. The rating agency would like to see that number at 100%, a 1-to-1 ratio. So looking now in 2019, we're down to number 8. We were able to achieve that 100% target. And in 2020, we even lowered it even more, to 93%. That means that our total debt is 7% lower than our budget. The story is very much the same when it comes to debt service or annual interest and principal payments. In 2015, we were the second highest percentage-wise in the state. Last year, we were down to 12th in the state with 16% of our debt service to budget ratio. This year, we're down to 14%. The last indicator that I'd like to talk about is per capita spending. Historically, we've always been the second lowest per capita spending county in the state. However, when you compare counties like rural counties like Salem County or Warren County, which budgets are less than $100 million, it's really not a fair comparison. So if we take all the major counties with budgets over $300 million, we're the lowest per capita of all those counties. That means Middlesex County provides services for each taxpayer at a dramatically lower level than in any other major county in the state. And that's my presentation.
Thank
Is there
you,
any
Joe.
questions?
Thank you, Joe. That was an extensive presentation. Great job. Thank you. At this time, I open up the public discussion on resolutions 20-350, 20-351, 20-352, and 20-353. If anybody has any comments or questions.
Move to close the public portion.
Motion to close by Fielder Tamaro, seconded by Fielder Koppel. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, is there a motion to adopt the above resolutions?
So move.
Motion by Fielder Tamaro, second by Fielder Koppel. Roll call.
Fielder Armwood? Yes. Fielder Ascona Barber?
Yes.
Fielder Koppel? Yes. Fielder Nara?
Yes.
Fielder Tamaro?
Yes.
Fielder Director Rios?
Yes. The clerk will read previously adopted resolution number 20-288 by title only.
Authorize increase in 2020 tax levy cap limits and establishment of a cap bank NJAS 40A:4-4514 to be increased by 1% in the amount of $2,727,705.03. Authorized public hearing to be held on March 19, 2020 at 7:00 p.m. in the Freeholders meeting room.
The clerk will read the summary of the proposed budget.
Total of general appropriations for 2020 is $510,843,456. For 2019 is $515,669,456. Less anticipated revenues, $92,346,686. For 2019, $113,967,456. Amount to be raised by taxation. County purpose tax for 2020 is $418,496,770. For 2019, $401,702,000.
Is there a motion to introduce 2020 budget? Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Fielder Koppel, seconded by Fielder Tamaro. Roll call.
Fielder Armwood? Yes. Fielder Ascona Barber?
Yes.
Fielder Koppel? Fielder Nara?
Yes.
Fielder Tamaro?
Yes.
Fielder Director Rios?
Yes. The clerk will read the county budget notice.
Annual budget of the County of Middlesex for fiscal year 2020. Be it resolved that the following statements of revenues and appropriations shall constitute the county budget for the year 2020. Be it resolved that a summary of said budget be published in the Home News Tribune and Star Ledger in the issue of March 7, 2020. The Board of Chosen Freeholders of the County of Middlesex does hereby approve the following as the budget for the year 2020. Notice is hereby given that the budget and tax resolution were approved by the Board of Chosen Freeholders of the County of Middlesex on March 5th, 2020. A hearing on the budget and tax resolution will be held at the County Administration Building, New Brunswick, New Jersey, on March 19th at 7:00 p.m., at which time and place objections to said budget and tax resolution for the year 2020 may be presented by taxpayers or other.
Correspondence.
Each freeholder has been provided with a list of correspondence received by the clerk's office since our last meeting. This correspondence will be kept on file in the office of the clerk of the board for reference.
Motion to accept correspondence?
Motion by Fielder Tamaro, seconded by Fielder Koppel. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Minutes for approval.
Board of Chosen Freeholders regular meeting, February 20th, 2020, at 7:00 p.m.
Is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Motion by Fielder Tamaro, seconded by Fielder Koppel. Roll call.
Fielder Armwood? Yes. Fielder Ascona Barber?
Yes.
Fielder Koppel? Fielder Nara?
Yes.
Fielder Tamaro?
Yes.
Fielder Director Rios?
Yes. Okay, Mr. Kelso, any resolutions to be added?
There are none.
Any resolutions to be amended?
There are none.
Resolutions to be held?
There are none.
Resolutions to be voided?
Yes, we have two resolutions to be voided. The first resolution is 20-394, which was authorizing attendance at a conference for individuals. The reason we're voiding it is because the conference has been canceled as a result of the virus. and you need a vote on that.
Okay. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Fielder Tamaro, second by Fielder Koppel. Roll call.
Freeholder Armwood? Yes. Freeholder Ascona Barber?
Yes.
Freeholder Koppel? Freeholder Nara?
Yes.
Freeholder Tamaro?
Yes.
Freeholder Director Rios?
Yes.
The second resolution to be voided is 20-399 with regard to the awarding of a contract to Safeguard Document Destruction for the furnishing of paper shredding services for 2020. This resolution is to be voided because we did not receive all of the documentation that was required as part of the bid. So we're voiding the resolution.
Motion to void?
Motion by Fielder Tamaro, second by Fielder Koppel. Roll call.
Freeholder Armwood? Yes. Freeholder Ascona Barber?
Yes.
Freeholder Koppel? Yes. Freeholder Nara?
Yes.
Freeholder Tamaro?
Yes.
Freeholder Director Rios?
Yes. This time I open up the meeting to the public on any resolutions listed. Please state your name and address.
Hi, yes, Danielle Moore. I would like the information for Resolution 2340, regards to homeless.
Which one? I can't hear you, I'm sorry.
340,
340?
how is this to help out with the homeless?
That is the state grant that we get for social services for the homeless. That's money that goes to county homes to provide peace management, as well as to provide hotel and motel placements and prevention funding. It's called access housing to help folks with first month's rent, security deposits, things like that.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else in the public? Please state your name and address, and you have 5 minutes.
Good evening, members of the board. Charles Cradaville from New Brunswick. I'm the editor of New Brunswick Today. I'd like to ask about number 330. I notice Mr. Cerami is not here. What happened to him? Is he being replaced?
Mr. Cerami is here.
Oh, where is he?
It's back there.
Okay. Sorry, nice to see it.
Hiding.
Is there a new director of human resources?
Yes, there is. We're going to designate Patrick Gallagher.
Well, congratulations, sir. Best of luck to you in the position. Can you tell me when he started?
The appointment is made this evening as part of the reorganization that took place on January 7th, the reorganization meeting, the realignment of individuals in various departments. Patrick Gallagher became the director of HR, and Dennis Sarang became the department head of infrastructure management.
Thank you. That was my next question. 342, this is a grant for Code Blue Services in Perth Amboy, $25,000.
Which one?
342, grant to the city of Perth Amboy. May I ask, was this grant also offered to the city of New Brunswick?
Jerry?
Okay, and is it true that New Brunswick rejected that opportunity, turned down the $25,000? Do you have any idea why they would not pursue such a opportunity for 25 grand? Okay. So I just know that, Code Blue is supposed to help folks when it's 32 degrees or lower, and New Brunswick is not doing that with their program, and I think
You're going to
that-
have to ask New Brunswick about that, Mr. Cradaville. Any other questions on any resolutions listed?
Sure. 348 is a DevCo project, Cultural Center Redevelopment Associates Urban Renewal. You've already authorized $1.925 million for, I guess that was just for installing the floors. I know we discussed that previously, but now you're coming back and asking for another $113,000 for security outfitting and installation. Why wasn't that part of the original budget for this? The county's already poured in some $20 million for the project?
As with any type of work and improvements that we make on an annual basis to all our facilities, we wanted to upgrade with the newest technology some of the security mechanisms for the safety of the people in that building. If you look at any of the investments and capital programs we have year in and year out across all of our facilities, we look at that so you continue to make investments to ensure you have the proper security and capabilities of surveillance in those facilities. So again, new technology to ensure that.
Okay, and that's only security for the county's section of the building, right?
That is correct.
Okay. Move on to 362. I guess this is purchasing treated effluent from Suez. Why not get that from the MCUA? Am I mistaken about that being an option?
As you know, as part of the change that took place, the golf course management has now been brought back into the county under infrastructure management, under golf management. And in essence, this cost is really a cost that it's more of an approval, but it's part of the Billy Casper management fees that it's already there. It's just approving those dollars for this purpose.
But I'm saying in terms of the purchase, couldn't that purchase have been made from the MCUA? Why are we going with a private company when the county?
For this service?
Yeah, no, you're telling me the MCUA doesn't?
MCUA.
UA, yeah.
This is not a service that the MCUA can provide.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. And then finally, 366, this is a permit for a pipeline in the Middlesex Greenway? Am I crazy? Is that a bad idea in Edison, especially in light of the 1994 explosion? Why would we want a pipeline in the Greenway?
Yeah, this is a project that Texas Eastern is undertaking. Actually, I'm going to ask Melissa Clark from Texas Eastern to explain a little bit more about the project and what they're seeking here across under the
So there's actually a scoping hearing, I want to say that at the outset, next week, March 11th, 2020. Declare alert and first aid, but essentially the proposed project under consideration in FERC, the Regulatory Commission, right now. The entire project would be approximately 1.55 miles and a 120 section length of 20-inch pipe across the Middlesex Greenway. But essentially what this resolution is seeking very simply is an authorization for the county property owner to sign off on the permits. And JDP will require, of which there are two, the property owner consent form is required for DP to look into those applications.
Okay. What
Time's up.
time?
Time is up.
What time is the hearing?
Time up.
What time is the hearing? Sorry? 7 p.m. I would urge the freeholders to hold off on approving this
Time is
until
up,
after the
Mr.
scoping
Craddill.
hearing. I
Thank
hope
you.
you would attend it
Anyone else
and
in the
learn
public?
before you vote.
You're out of order.
No, just resolution.
Just resolutions.
Move to close the public portion?
Motion to close by Fielder Tamaro, second by Fielder Koppel. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, Mr. Kelso, does anyone have to vote on anything separately?
I do. I have resolution 20-347.
2347? Okay, Mr. Kelso.
Yes, Fielder Director, a motion would then be in order to adopt a consent agenda consisting of resolution numbers 20-327 through 20-405, excluding resolutions 20-350, 351, 352, and 353, which were previously voted upon, resolutions 20-394 and 20-399 to be voided, and resolution 20-347 to be voted upon separately.
Motion to adopt the consent agenda?
Motion adopted by Fielder Tamaro, seconded by Fielder Koppel. Roll call.
Fielder Armwood? Yes. Fielder Ascona Barber?
Yes.
Fielder Koppel? Yes. Fielder Tamaro? Fielder Nara?
Yes.
Fielder Tamaro?
Yes.
Fielder Director Rios?
Yes.
Now, Fielder Director, would it be appropriate to consider the resolution excluded by Freeholder Tamaro, and that's resolution 20-347.
Motion by Fielder Koppel, seconded by Deputy Director Armwood. Roll call.
Fielder Armwood?
Yes.
Fielder Ascona Barber?
Yes.
Fielder Koppel? Yes. Fielder Nara?
Yes.
Fielder Tamaro?
President not voting.
Fielder Director Rios?
Yes. Okay, this time I open up the meeting to the public. Anyone has any comments? Please state your name and address, and you have 5 minutes.
Good evening, Mr. Freeholder Director. Charles Cradaville, New Brunswick today. Can I first of all hear what was the presentation you heard at 6 p.m. about on the open space?
It was about open space property in North Brunswick for a farm. Fairly narrow, what was the name? Or Rick, you have the, can you expand? Yeah.
Yeah, that was for a contract for an open space, potential open space acquisition in North Brunswick. It would be for a strip of farm, which is approximately 21 acres adjacent to an additional former open space acquisition on the farm. It's about 80 acres, and the Donald J. Crusoe Memorial Park is about 30.
Thank you very much. So I do want to follow up on what I brought up at your last meeting and the one that I was at prior to that, the situation with the Lincoln Annex School on Somerset Street in New Brunswick. I know, Mr. Director, you've been supportive of this project that would displace the school. I know the county attorney, Mr. Kelso, is also the attorney for the developer that wants to displace the school. And I know that the mayor of New Brunswick, who has one of his employees on this board as well, is supporting the closure of the school in just a few months. It's one of the best performing schools in New Brunswick. It was renovated at taxpayer expense. $22 million in local taxpayer funds were used to turn that abandoned Catholic school into a good public school, and I think you know where I stand on this. We shouldn't close that school. And I know that the mayor has proposed a replacement school to be built on Jersey Avenue, which is a county road, and I would encourage the county to look into the locations that have been proposed, both of which are contaminated sites, and neither of which is convenient to the students and families of the neighborhood. I also want to point out something that Robert Wood Johnson has promised in the past. In fact, to the New Brunswick Planning Board, the hospital promised to install a traffic signal, a traffic light at the corner of Plum Street and French Street. I've spoken with the county engineer about this. I'm happy to provide documentation. They apparently swore that they would do this in the planning board hearings. And there's, of course, no traffic signal at Plum Street and French Street. And it says that they would not only, do that as part of the project, but they would fund it. Robert Wood Johnson would fund it. And now the parents who are about to lose their school because a developer and the hospital want the land underneath it are being told that, don't worry, Robert Wood is going to pay for a new school. And I don't think that we can reasonably trust an entity that has failed to deliver on something as minor as a traffic light that they promised they were going to pay for some 18 years ago. Why should we trust them to fund a new school, and why should we trust the mayor to put it in the right place when the first two sites he's proposed are not owned by the government? They're both privately owned sites, and they're both contaminated. And I know, Mr. Director, you probably were not aware when the project was first announced that the site would be on the current location of a good public school, and I don't think that you or your colleagues should support this project unless and until there is a resolution to the issue with the school. And I'm just asking you, if you could, in the time that's remaining, address this issue, and would you take a stand on behalf of the New Brunswick community, who you're elected to represent, to say that you won't support the project unless there's a new school ready to open before this one is forced to close. Would you be willing to take that stand?
Thank you for your comments. I
was
told
a
you this is a
question.
local issue, and I don't have a position on that. That's a local issue.
What do you think about putting a school on 131 Jersey Avenue? Is that the right place for a community school?
Thank you for your comments. You have any other comments?
That's a question, sir.
This is comment period. You could make all the comments you want. I don't have to answer every question that you have, Mr. Cradaville. You have a political agenda here. That's all you have.
What do you think my agenda is? What's my agenda?
I'm not going to go back and
Why am I
forth with
taking
you.
time out of my day to come here?
I don't know.
Maybe it's because I don't want the school that I paid for to be destroyed after just 4 years. We all, in New Brunswick, taxpayers paid to open this school. It would be a poor choice for our leaders to give it up to a private corporation in exchange for nothing more than a promise and a vision of building something on a contaminated piece of land that has not been acquired yet. That's a crazy idea, and I think that as a county freeholder, you should look into it since it's being proposed for a county road. And I know there's some other people here
Time's
who are
up.
going to speak to you
Time
about
is
it, and I
up.
hope you'll
Thank
listen
you.
and take to heart
The
what they
time is
say,
up.
because you
Next.
sometimes tune me out.
Please state your name and address, and you have
My
5
name is
minutes.
Danielle Moore. I live at 333 Somerset Street. First, I would like to bring to your attention, I did state to the county at the council meeting last night to please be aware that I'm asking for a no turn on red on Jersey Avenue and Handy Street, where I have several pictures that the cars are not respecting pedestrians where they have the right of way. The order was to Captain Miller to please look out, have the police look out. I will present the evidence to you, like I said, please, no turn on red, where the city said to come, it was okay to come just send it to you, but I'm not going to prolong. I will present you the pictures at the end. And now, one thing I have to say, I'm very disappointed where you won't give an answer due to where this is the board's sitting sign that's on this bridge there. But please, due to where this has been contaminated since 2011, May 6th of 2011, how DEFCO said, wow, they were paid to clean it up. As you know, that's a flood zone there. Every time it rains, how it floods there, brings all the garbage there. They cannot fix due to where you have 4 sewer lines that's connected through there all the way through that stream to North Brunswick. Please, do you see what I'm saying? How can they clean this? Stop the flooding. It says sanitary sewage. How can they, all the pipes under there, they cannot be moved. They can't clean it, so it's not a location for a school. Please, that's sewage. Every time it rains, Joyce Comer and Jersey Avenue floods, just like the charter school gets captured, stuck in school when it floods. They can't come outside. So like I said, I know you've been good making New Brunswick safe for a while. How can you not order due to where you know what goes on and what's been going on for the past 20 years with sewage and all? They cannot stop all this dirtiness. What, you have over 20 homeless living there. It's filthy. No way that DEFCO can clean this. So please, I hope you do take the time, how the video, Channel 12, they just showed the front of the building. But I'm still taking the time to show you what's all in the back of these pictures. What, beds and all, people living back there. So please, you take the time to go back there, and please, I hope you really think about, wow, this is not no location for no school to go. Please do. They cannot clean all this stuff, mainly with sewage. But every time it rains hard, come on, I do know you do know the situation where I just showed you, you just repaired the wall so many years ago to try to stop the flooding, and it doesn't help. So please, I hope you do take the time to think, wow, my child doesn't go there, but believe me, I will respect any child's safety as I would of my own. And I proved, which I will have over 200 pictures I donated to Mr. Charlton, New Brunswick today for you to really see what is going on other than what News Channel 12 showed you in front. That cannot be replaced. Over 4 sewer lines right there, drums that cannot be replaced. DEFCO cannot take it out. So it's not an area for a school. It's been on record. And then also I would like to talk to you regards to French and Saddam, due to where at the city council meeting, I was, the traffic meeting today, Mr. Jones had announced to me that it will be a hold on French and Saddam Street due to where it will be into one project now, due to where Jersey Avenue and Sanford has to get done. But that wasn't the arrangement that was going on, due to where once you said that the new engineer from for New Brunswick was to get together, we were going to try to start working on something, but not to have to wait until you finish the whole project with Jersey Avenue.
Ron?
I can speak to the last comment you just made. We are meeting again with the city tomorrow. Solomon Cavanis and myself will be meeting, and we'll be discussing the French Street corridor, and we will specifically ask that we get started on the Handy and Jersey French Street intersection and Saddam and French. We need an agreement.
Okay, thank you. I will look into that, but I do have a few minutes left. And one reason why I say, Jersey Avenue is not good for a school. Wow, you paid over 10 times. You had to replace the beam due to where it was so many crashes. What, French and Sanford? I have plenty of pictures of that. Plenty of crashes with French and Saddam Street. Wow, you just put those signs there, no crossing at French and Alexander, and the kids have to walk. You'll be putting them in danger crossing a highway with no walkways. Please think about what you're doing.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else from the public?
We're still good though, but like I said, please, I hope.
Thank you for your comments. Your time is up. Next. Please state your name and address, and you have 5 minutes.
My name is Diego Osorio. I'm a Lincoln NX student. I live in 137 Joyce Kilmer Avenue with my parents. I want to say my own opinion about the selling of the school because I I wouldn't feel comfortable if I was relocated into somewhere other than my neighborhood, and I've personally seen the 131 Jersey Avenue site, and I really don't like it. It looks very dirty. There's a bunch of garbage all over the floor. It looks almost abandoned. And I don't want to be in an area like that ever in my life, especially in a school. Thank you.
Thank you. Please state your name and address, and you have 5 minutes.
Muy buenas tardes, mi nombre es Cándido.
Good afternoon, my name is Candido.
Last name, please.
Osorio. And
your address?
I'm living in 137 Jones Kilmer Avenue. Y el motivo por el cual estoy aquí, como ustedes vieron, tengo un hijo en la escuela Lincoln Annex.
And my motive for being here, as you've seen, I have a child in the Lincoln Annex.
Y yo sé que aquí se han pasado las resoluciones para seguir avanzando, aunque muchas de las veces dicen que no es su responsabilidad, mas sin embargo siguen avanzando este proceso.
I know that here the resolutions have been advanced to continue this process, even though it's said that this is not the responsible place.
Pero siguen avanzando el
But
proceso.
it keeps progressing.
Y yo quisiera que cada uno de ustedes se pusieran a pensar como padres, si a ustedes les gustaría mandar a sus hijos a un warehouse que está a casi 2 millas de distancia,
And I would like each of you to think, as parents, if you would want your child to be sent to a warehouse that's almost 2 miles away from the neighborhood.
y también que se pongan a pensar que si es tan seguro si en la propuesta que hay de utilizar la 131 de la Jersey Avenue para hacer una escuela nueva, si ustedes creen que ese es el lugar correcto para que eso se haga ahí.
And also then, in terms of the 131 Jersey Avenue site, being for the school to be built, the replacement school, would you consider that an appropriate site for a school?
En primera, porque está muy fuera de la comunidad, fuera de donde debería de estar la escuela. Y
First, because it's very far outside of the community, where a community school should be.
Y en segunda, porque es inseguro. Está fuera de la ciudad en un área comercial, donde lo único que se ven alrededores son algunos edificios viejos e incluso hay un centro para alcohólicos anónimos.
Yeah, so it's a very unsafe neighborhood, or not. It's not really even a neighborhood. It was describing that there's just a lot of like old, really old, some abandoned, some there's AA has a group, like different places rent out there, but
Y
they
hay
know.
un centro de alcohólicos anónimos.
Yeah, I
ahí.
said the AA part, and then what
Okay.
was the?
No más.
What fue el otro?
Yo quisiera que cada uno de ustedes se pusiera a pensar. Yo sé que aquí se juega mucho dinero, que es lo que la mayoría está viendo, pero que se pongan a ver en la educación de nuestros hijos.
So I would really like you to, I know that there's a lot of money in play here, and that, you could really keep in mind the education of our students.
Lo único que espero es que hoy que se vayan a su casa, cada uno de ustedes se pongan a pensar qué ustedes serían capaces de hacer por sus hijos, por la educación y por el bienestar de ellos.
And so I would really like, when you go to your homes today, think about, what you would be willing to do for the well-being and the education of your own children.
Hagan un lado ese dinero que está en esta inversión y pónganse más a pensar como seres humanos.
Please put to the side all the money that's involved here and just think about it in terms of human beings.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public?
I had wanted to speak for myself.
Yeah.
Okay, my name is Linda Stork. I live at 12 Park Boulevard in New Brunswick. This would also be my school area. My children are a little past that age at this point. But they did go to the Lincoln School. And I just want to say, I don't know if you've personally visited this part of Jersey Avenue, but it is nobody's neighborhood. the thought that, you know, you take like a thriving community school that's in the middle of the community where people can freely, you know, the kids walk to school, the parents can come to school, they can come for conferences, they can pick up a sick child, or bring their children to school. To take away that, the other thing is, this is one of our best schools in New Brunswick. You know, any pretense that this is out of concern, you know, that we should be so happy to get a new school. We just spent $22 million on this one. This is almost the best we have, aside from the really new schools in New Brunswick. We have a lot of schools that could stand to be replaced. We have a whole list of them. But this isn't one of them. So to knock this down, ship the kids out to the warehouse for an indefinite period, because clearly they haven't thought out the plan for the replacement. The sites that they propose are inadequate and would clearly take more than a couple years. The thought that this is, and you know, and then we're made to feel like we should be so grateful for this chance to get this new school, you know, that we didn't ask for or need. Not that we don't need schools, but this isn't the school that we need to have replaced. This is just a school that sits where they want to be for the cancer center. We feel like they really did not consider alternate sites or alternate plans. This was just kind of bulldozed through. When we raised concerns about it going back months, we were told we were being rumor mongers. There was nothing definite. You know, the school board hadn't received any concrete proposal, which they did receive last Tuesday night, and then waited till we had all gone home and pushed it through. It just, it's not sitting well with the community. I can speak as, you know, a member of the community. This is the public school that would, you know, as I say, if my kids were a little younger, they would be going to. And if you could, it's just, it's making me really sad to see the degree to which, as Candido just mentioned, the human factor is being left out of this. You know, anybody that tries to speak up for the children is accused of being anti-cancer patient. Well, that's absurd. Nobody's against cancer patients. You know, many of us have cancer patients in the family or are cancer patients. But this is what it's been reduced to. And I would really appreciate any amount of weighing in that you could do, or disapproval of the Jersey Avenue site, since that is a county road. At a bare minimum, we don't want to see a new school there. But any influence that you could have over the whole plan, we would really appreciate. Thank you.
Thank you. Please state your name and address, and you have 5 minutes.
Thank you, and good evening. My name is Brian Kulas. I live at 130 Longfield Court in East Brunswick. And real quick, first question. I know that sounded like there was going to be a public meeting on the pipeline, but I just have to ask, does that pipeline have anything to do with anything going on still with Raritan Bay or the compressor station in South Brunswick? Is there any relation between these projects?
No, that has nothing to do with the that other project.
Okay. And my next, continuing on the environment, basically early on in the year, I think it was the first meeting of the year, I came before at this podium and I inquired about the Freeholder Board work on basically banning single-use plastic bags in the least. And as the legislation did not pass, and I'm not really sure where that is moving forward at this point, but that doesn't excuse our Freeholder Board in Middlesex County to not put forth efforts to work on the environments and ban in the least single-use plastic bags. Now, out of our 25 municipalities, we have one that have put forth an effort. That's about 5% of our county, which is Highland Park, and we should give them a lot of credit. And supposedly, I've heard word that East Brunswick is considering something, but nothing has been proposed yet. So basically, there's two county freeholder boards that have put forth this initiative. One is Atlantic County, that put a ban on plastic bags and plastic straws, single use, in county parks that went into effect in 2018. Their first year only provided warnings. Their second year was up to a $500 fine. I don't know, no one has really data as to whether that was followed through, but the fact is that they tried to do something. Camden, as of January 1st this year, single-use plastics will be banned in all county facilities and at all county-sponsored events. They include plastic bags, plastic straws, stir, utensils, styrofoam, bottled water in single-use containers, 1 liter or less. These are initiatives that other counties are taking. They're not waiting for the state. And I find it interesting how our local legislators, Senator Bob Smith and Assemblywoman Nancy Pinkin, are chairs of the environmental committees in their assembly and in the Senate. I would like to think that they would be encouraging you to do something and not wait for the state. So that's all I ask, is that we have progress moving forward with that. My second issue at this point is Jersey Avenue. I read an article in the Sentinel that had come up that Mayor Timbaro, I believe it is, of Monroe. Yes, basically there seems to be some dispute between them and Cranberry over the weight of trucks traveling on certain county roads. I don't need to go into details. It sounds like you guys know what I'm talking about, because it says in the article that and I quote the mayor, I am pleased to see this truck weight restriction moving forward at my urging. Monroe Mayor Timbaro said in a statement, I appreciate that county officials were so quick to review our truck study and ordinance and recommend to the state that it be approved. I want this truck ban enacted as soon as possible for our residents, and I am fully committed to ensuring this ban is finalized to the state. And he also makes a statement again, the Mayor Matt Scott of Cranberry acknowledged that he's just trying to protect his residents. He doesn't blame Mayor Timbaro. He's just saying Mayor Timbaro wants to protect his residents. And the mayor of Cranberry said the same. He said, my responsibility is to protect the residents. And that's what we're asking you to do when it comes to this project with the Lincoln Annex School. We just heard a young man come before a child at this school and talk to you sincerely, genuinely, look you in the eye and say, please don't do this. There's reasons for why he's doing that. And I give him such credit because I think everyone who's ever been an advocate, including yourselves, knows what it's like to stand up for something you believe in, come to a podium and express yourself. So we do ask that if the mayor of Monroe has asked for efficient action. Okay.
Thank you. Anyone else in the public want to speak? Please state your name and address, and you have 5 minutes.
Yeah, I'm Susan Miller of Delavan Street of New Brunswick, New
Could you
Jersey.
speak a little louder, ma'am?
Susan Miller, Delavan Street, New Brunswick, New Jersey, okay? I've come to oppose the demolition of the school across the street from Robert Wood Johnson, the school known as Lincoln Annex, and to oppose the replacement of it by a school at 131 Jersey Avenue or at 50 Jersey Avenue. Those are both bad sites for somewhat different reasons. The first is a brownfield, and I don't believe it would be possible to clean it adequately to make it safe for a school. And I don't trust the city of New Brunswick in any case to do it, even if it is possible. We've been lied to by the city of New Brunswick so many times. They've told us falsehoods about what they were going to do with Albany Street. They've told us falsehoods about placement of traffic lights on French Street. why would we trust them about this? The other site, I was going to say, the one at 50 Jersey Avenue is inappropriate because it's right near a railway track, and there are a couple of problems with that. The embankment will probably cause flooding in the school. I know my children went to the charter school, which had terrible problems with flooding because it was close to the Northeast Corridor line. And even though it was on pretty high ground, it constantly flooded because of the embankment that was right next to the school for the railway line. So both are very bad sites. In addition to which, there's a lot of noise from a railway line. You'd really have to sound insulate the school, and the children would have to deal with the noise when they went out, you know, for recreation outside. So both are inappropriate sites for a new school, and they're both on Jersey Avenue, a corridor that's controlled by you. So this is your responsibility. It's not just a local issue. It is a county issue because the new school in any case would be on a county road, okay? So it is up to you to decide whether to approve it or not approve it, okay? And I would urge you to think about the fact also that the 760 children would have to be temporarily moved to a warehouse. Also an inappropriate move, and would have been an unnecessary move if the new school had been built before the new construction project were undertaken. You know, it's clear that the city is acting in bad faith, and I would urge you to consider that when you decide what, as a county, you're going to do about this project. As far as I'm concerned, the construction of a new cancer center, as so many expansions of Robert Wood in the past, are not a matter of provision of services. They're matters of empire building. Every time Robert Wood expands, someplace else closes. I remember years ago when we first came to this town and Robert Wood was expanding, I said to my husband, you know, with all this expansion, mark my words, other hospitals are going to close. And sure enough, a few years later, Muhlenberg did. And now, if you're in Plainfield and you have a heart attack, you have to go to JFK or Raritan Bay or all the way to New Brunswick. Not good for people from Plainfield and that region. So, you know, the construction of hospitals and research facilities even is a zero-sum game, and I don't think that New Brunswick is actually the best place for a research center, for a cancer research center. There are bigger cities in the state that have bigger populations, that have more cancer patients, and I think the research facility should be put there. And so please consider your role in these projects. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public? Please state your name and address.
Yes, Freeholder.
And you have 5 minutes.
Sure, I'll try to do it less than that. Freeholder Director and Freeholders. My name is Robert Rosenberg, Robert Bennett Rosenberg, from 222 Denison Street in Highland Park, as an educator with a master's degree. I wasn't prepared to say anything, but I couldn't hold my tongue. Love the opportunity of speaking, especially when it comes to education. The first thing that came to my mind, without knowing any of the parties involved, the first thing that will come to my mind, and I don't want to be an upstart, but I'll add this to the mix. I came from Clifton in Passaic County, moved down with my parents when I was 14 to East Brunswick with my younger sister. Had the opportunity, before this was a colored type of school, blue, platinum, whatever. We went to East Brunswick because it was a great municipality and so forth. So the first thing that comes to my mind is that when this young child was speaking, I noticed the fact that I'm ethnically a Spaniard from Spain, besides being Hungarian and Polish. And I'm just wondering about minorities. Would that happen in another municipality, either East Brunswick, Highland Park? Just saying. And the quality of the education that was done in Lincoln Park. Now, mind you, I'm going to add this to the mix. I know nothing about what's going on with the school, just as an educator. And so my first and foremost thing would be about the children. That's all I have to say. I do want to add something. I wanted to say thank you very much for all of you extending an open ear in listening. So many of us, or I should say, people that should be listening don't. And I want to thank you so much for allowing the free speech that, whether you like it, like the facts or not, you at least maintain the opportunity for free speech. And I want to applaud that. Thank you very much. My name is
Thank
Bobby
you.
Rosenberg.
Anyone else in the public?
Yes.
Please state your name and address, and you have 5 minutes.
Hello, my name is Maria Juarez. I live in 264 Drift Street, New Brunswick, New Jersey. I'm here to talk about the Lincoln Annex matter. I have a student there. My daughter attends the school. We're just trying to get more answers and feel more comfortable with the clarity of what's going on with the sale, because we haven't gotten that from the board yet, and it's very, very frustrating. So that is all I have to say.
Thank you. Anyone else in the public? Please come up, state your name and address, and you have 5 minutes.
Crystal, Middlesex County.
Now, what's your name and address, sir?
I just announced myself, Crystal,
No.
Middlesex County.
No. Your name and address.
All right, Crystal Edison, New Jersey.
Christo what?
I just recognize myself. Everywhere I go, they recognize me like this.
No.
Why is it a problem now?
State your name and address.
Christo,
and you will be recognized.
Crystal 14 Fox Road.
Christo, what is your last name?
Why do I have to? I just recognize myself. Can we continue?
No, I'm recognizing you. What is your last name?
Don't start my clock until he recognizes me. Am I recognized yet?
Mr. Kelso, do I have a legal opinion?
You have a right to get a full name from an individual who's giving comment at the
Crystal Macropolis, 14 Fox Road. I don't feel.
Please spell your name so we could get it, because that's too fast.
Now I have to spell it for you? Do you ask anybody else to spell their names?
Because you're going so fast, we can't understand your name.
Crystal Macropolis, 14 Fox Road.
Acropolis?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Now,
Edison?
Yes, sir. And I don't feel comfortable recognizing myself to the fullest because I happen to be receiving racist flyers from your township of Carteret, New Jersey, from your mayor, Mayor Ryman. This is harassment. I've been to the Black History Month event in Carteret, New Jersey, where both you and Assistant Director Armwood were both there. I mean, I find it, I walk into the event, first he threatens me, then he blackmails me, then he tells me he's gonna stick it in my ass, which is a sexual harassment. If I spoke to a woman that way, and I told the woman something like that, it's a sexual harassment. And after that, whatever, some days go by, 1 week later, now flyers are starting to be sent to my home. It can only come from nowhere else but Carteret. Other than me, the other people in the flyer are people from Carteret. I didn't have to open this. because I already saw what it was sent to somebody else, who then sent me a photo. I'm being threatened by the mayor of Carteret, sexually assaulted. There are also, have you ever been contacted by one of Mayor Ryman's sexual assault victims?
Mr.
Thank you for your
Macropolis?
comment. Yes.
Mr. Macropolis, you have allegations that you're making that you feel that law enforcement should know about it. Make your allegations to those
I just
folks.
asked if you've ever been contacted
I'm not
before.
going to answer your
Deputy
question.
Director Armwood, have you ever been
I'm not
contacted
going to
by
answer.
any?
No, you go to here. I chair this meeting.
But I can speak to anybody I like.
The questions go through the chair, and I am the chair right
Rios,
here.
you said that Trump is the lowest form. I think you are the lowest form. How can you speak about President Trump like that? Your own president on Facebook. Tomorrow, Medal of Freedom was given to Rush Limbaugh, somebody who now has cancer, and we're
The
discussing,
questions
we're calling-
go through me.
And I'm talking through you. How can somebody call Rush Limbaugh a racist, which it's not true? You guys are race baiting, playing your race bait in politics, just like Governor Murphy, scumbag. He's a scumbag.
Yo,
And
Mr. Macropolis.
yes, sir.
There are
Christo,
ladies.
You can call me Christo. Thank you.
There are ladies and there are children here. Use appropriate language, please.
Why out of today, all of a sudden you want to know my full name, my address? You never cared to any of the other
Because
meetings.
we have the right to.
Because you have the right to, so this way, you and your friends from Carteret can continue harassing me?
I never harassed you. So
Okay,
don't say that I harassed you.
But you know where this is coming from.
I have no idea. I never saw that before.
Rios Armwood, if you go to YouTube and you check on the YouTube, there's a video I made of my event, where at my time in event, it's called Mayor Ryman Threatened to Stick It Up My Ass.
Again, there's
did.
children in here. The next time you say
Mayor
those
Ryman-
words, I'm going to have you out of order and I'm going to have you
You're out of
escorted
order,
out.
sir. This is the truth. I have it on video. I'm coming here to speak to my government officials, okay? The moment I came in here, you guys are breaking the sunshine law, not allowing me to record the lobby. I'm being told I can't wait online to speak on public
You're not allowed
comments.
to record the security area.
Okay, but at the same time, I expect to be allowed online. As
You're
per
speaking.
sunshine
You
law.
have every
Yeah,
right.
but I
You
had
have
to
your 5
stand
minutes.
I had to stand over there the whole time, and I don't appreciate that. I really don't appreciate that. It's like you guys are, you didn't have this rule until I started showing up to these meetings.
We've always had a rule that you state your name and address and you have 5 minutes. Yes, we
No,
have.
people were recording all the time in the lobby. I have that also recorded. People didn't have to stand over there. There was never a barricade over there saying all media personnel have to be over there in the corner. I mean, it's just BS. It's complete BS.
No, it's for public safety.
Mr. Rios, I think public safety, Attorney General Gerber Gruwald should investigate Carteret, Mayor Ryman. But of course, he's not going to, because Gerber Gruwald was already contacted about these claims. He refuses to investigate. He refused to investigate the racist flyers in Edison. I mean, you guys are always covering up for each other. It's your party. All of you, you're all connected with each other. And you know what I'm talking about.
I have no idea what
Time's
you're
up.
talking about. Time is up. Thank you.
always
Anyone
say I
else
have
in the
a
public?
political
You're out of
agenda.
order.
You accuse credibility.
You're out of order. Anyone else in the public? You're out of order. Motion to close by Freeholder Tamaro, seconded by Freeholder Coppel. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Motion to adjourn? Motion by Freeholder Tamaro, seconded by Freeholder Coppel. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Meeting adjourned.